So at this time, I'm calling this June 16, 2020 meeting of the Yakima School Board of Directors to order. Thank you for being here, everyone. And once again, I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Our interpreter for today is Miss Mesa. She is a teacher at Adams Elementary. Miss Mesa, thank you very much for assisting us with interpretation services. Very much appreciated. Again, I just want to remind the board and participants of the process that participants will first speak in English. Ms. Mesa will then interpret in Spanish. And I think I'm getting a lot better at doing this. So it does take teamwork to make this happen smoothly. That way our Spanish-speaking community can participate in our meeting this evening. Once again, Superintendent and Ms. Mesa, if I tend to go off and not break for interpretation, please do let me know. Okay. Jennifer, at this time, could you please?
Do you want her to translate?
Thank you, Superintendent. Yes.
Dijo el señor Raymond, ahora llamo a la reunión del 16 de junio del 2020 de la Junta Directiva del Distrito Escolar de Yakima en orden. Los servicios de traducción van a ser prohibidos por mí. Soy Angelina Mesa, trabajo en la primaria de Adams y el proceso va a ser el siguiente. Los participantes hablarán en inglés, después yo voy a traducir en español. Eso va a permitir que aquellos en nuestra comunidad que hablen español puedan participar en la reunión de esta noche. El señor Trevor y la señora Mesa, si por favor me pueden interrumpir si se me olvidó el proceso.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Jennifer to conduct roll call.
A ese tiempo me gustaría invitar que Jennifer, por favor, lleve a cabo la llamada de nominal.
Don Davis Jr.
Here.
Graciela Villanueva.
Here.
Martha Rice. Here. Norm Walker.
Estoy aquí.
Raymond Navarro Jr.
Estoy aquí también. I'm here. Good one, Norm. Thank you, Jennifer. Mr. Superintendent, could you please introduce members of your leadership team and staff, please?
Señor Superintendente Green, por favor, puede presentar a los miembros de su equipo de liderazgo y el personal del distrito que están con nosotros hoy.
Yes, thank you. We have Jennifer Baird, Executive Assistant, Kirsten Fitterer, Chief Communications Officer, our Associate Superintendent, Scott Isuzu, our 3 Assistant Superintendents and Dr. Rob Darling, Bob No, and Anthony Murrieta. Our Director of Technology is here, was Andy Gonzalez, and our Executive Director of Safety and Security, Stacy Locke. I believe that's everyone present.
Yes. Thank you and welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here to participate in this meeting. At this time, I will ask Jennifer to post the colors on the screen for our Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So before I get started, I just want to mention some things that we do for our virtual meeting. So this virtual meeting is being held consistent with Governor Inslee's March 24, 2020 proclamation prohibiting in-person meetings or contact. The proclamation also prohibits the board from taking any action unless matters are necessary and routine or necessary to respond to the COVID-19 outbreak and current public health emergency. And as you may know, the proclamation was extended by Washington State legislative leadership to tomorrow, which is June 17th. So, and I know that the board had decided to continue with the virtual meeting format or platform until the end of the month and reassess and take it from there. I'd like to, at this time, welcome members. Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and
Thank
pass
you,
it.
Ms. Mesa. Yes.
Esta reunión virtual se está llevando a cabo de conformación a la proclamación 2028 del gobernador Inslee que se hizo el 24 de marzo del 2020, que prohíbe las reuniones de personas o en el contacto con alguien más. Esta proclamación también prohíbe la Junta que tome medidas, al menos que sean de manera necesarias, y cuestiones, rutinas o asuntos necesarios para responder al brote del COVID-19 y a la emergencia de la salud pública actual. Además, como sabrán, la proclamación 2028 se vencerá, antes se vencía el 31 de mayo, pero fue cambiado para que se venciera el 17 de junio del 2020. Como tal, el Consejo de Administración del Distrito Escolar de Yakima continuará reuniéndose bajo los mismos permisos y restricciones que hemos estado durante los últimos 2 meses y hasta el resto del mes de junio. Después de eso vamos a reevaluar y de ahí procederemos.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to welcome members of the public who are joining us via live stream or telephone. We will not be asking members of the public to identify themselves, but we do welcome you to our meeting this evening. In terms of public comments, once again, the board has decided and the proclamation or resolution 0517.20 that we will not that we will not be taking public comments, but we do welcome them via email or you can give our superintendent a call as well. Excuse me. To better facilitate this meeting, we'll ask that all participants remember to pause and or mic after speaking to give others a clue that they can speak. Also like to suggest that you plug in your laptop or your computer into power and make sure that your speakers and microphone are set so that they do not cause feedback. Finally, as always, sometimes I don't pick up when a board member wishes to speak. So please let me know so I can recognize you. With that, thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and move on with our agenda. So,
Lo que dijo el señor Navarro fue que le gustaría dar la bienvenida a los miembros del público que se han unido con nosotros a través de la transmisión en vivo o por teléfono. La Junta no pedirá a los miembros de la comunidad que se identifiquen. Gracias por acompañarnos esta noche. De acuerdo con el número de la resolución 05.17.20, la Junta y las medidas adoptadas para la, para la reunión y permiten las pólizas o políticas 1400P y 1430 de la Junta. No habrá oportunidad de comentarios del público. Como siempre, los comentarios del público son invitados por correo electrónico a la Junta Directiva o al Superintendente. Damos la bienvenida a todos los comentarios del público por esos medios. Para facilitar esa reunión, pedimos que los participantes se recuerden hacer una pausa y o estar silencios después de hablar para que den turno y que dé una señal que alguien más pueda hablar. También me gustaría sugerir lo siguiente: conecten su aparato a un enchufe. Asegúrense que todas las altavoces y el micrófono estén apagados. Por último, puede haber ocasiones que al señor se le vaya a olvidar o no pueda ver que alguien tiene un comentario. Por favor, interrúmpanlo si piensan que es necesario para que ustedes puedan hablar.
thank you. Next on our agenda, we do have reports from members of the board, our legislative representative, Martha Rice, and Superintendent Green. Ms. Mesa?
Lo siguiente que vamos a hablar son que los miembros de la Junta van a darnos informes, la representante de la legislativa, la señora Martha Rice, y el superintendente Green.
At this time, are there any board members who wish to report this evening?
¿A ese tiempo hay algún miembro de la Junta Directiva que quiera dar un informe?
Hi, this is Norm. Just a brief report.
Yes.
I have joined the WASDA work group on suicide prevention and intervention. That's being facilitated by Logan Andress from WASDA. So I've become a part of that group. So I just thought I'd pass that on. Nothing big to report yet. They're working on probably updating some policy and procedures and getting them out to school districts.
Yes. Well, keep us posted. That's very important information. So appreciate you serving on that
Sure.
group.
El
So,
señor Norm está indicando que él es parte de WASTA y ahorita están hablando sobre la prevención de suicidio, todo lo que va a ser los procedimientos que las escuelas van a poder tomar. Ahorita no hay ningún reporte, pero él está en ese grupo.
are there any reports from other board members? Okay, seeing none. I do have a few items here I'd like to discuss with the board. And that is, the first one is changes to the board meeting schedule. And I recently met with Superintendent Green and Jennifer to discuss the best way going forward. And there was a couple of things. One is that the primary item that was driving the change in the schedule is the adoption of the annual or the 2020-21 budget, school budget. That's the primary item that is driving much of the change. So what has been suggested, recommended by Superintendent Green, is that we move the adoption of the 2020-21 annual budget from July 28th to August 18th. And the reasons for this, as you know, that a superintendent at OSPI recently released the Reopening Washington Schools Planning Guide. And that guide, as you may have, I'm sure you all read that 50-some page planning guide already. I know Martha has. And you'll see that there's many requirements and in that guide. And there's some fiscal components as well that are attached to those requirements. And that fiscal responsibility, those strings that are attached to the fiscal responsibilities are going to impact the budget. And so that, and also we know the current COVID-19 outbreak and the public health emergency continues to impact our state budget. You may recall that Governor Inslee, that he vetoed over, I think it was $35 million in the state budget that was passed by our legislation like in March, I think it was February, March. And so, the landscape in terms of the state budget is uncertain. While public education funds are protected by the Washington State Constitution, the cuts that the governor is wanting to make will impact school districts indirectly or directly. So, with this change, adopting the budget in August 18th would give our superintendent more time to look at those things and to give the board a better budget, an updated one, considering those requirements. And so we're asking the board if they are agreeable that with the following. Okay, so we would, on June 29th, we would have a presentation of the budget, of the preliminary budget, by Scotty Suzu. August 3rd, then we would have a public hearing on the budget. And then again, August 18th, the board then would take action to adopt the annual budget for 2020-21. That would provide the board at least 2 weeks between the public hearing and the adoption of the budget to consider any updates or changes that the board members may desire. So do any board members have any comments or questions regarding the recommended change in schedule?
Así que lo que está diciendo el señor Navarro es que hay cambios que vienen en el calendario para la adopción del presupuesto del año 2021. Si no hay objetos de la junta directiva, eso es lo que han estado hablando el señor Navarro, el señor Green y la señora Jennifer. Movernos a la aprobación del presupuesto anual del año 2020 al 2021, en vez de que se presenten estos presupuestos el 28 de julio, que se muevan al 18 de agosto. Además, como saben, OSPI acaba de publicar una guía de planificación de la Escuela de Washington para reabrir las escuelas. La guía es como aproximadamente de 50 y algo hojas, que tiene muchos requisitos y requerimientos. Y lo que sabemos es que todos esos requisitos y requerimientos van a afectar el presupuesto. Además, sabemos que el brote del COVID-19 y la emergencia actual de la salud pública están afectadas, y por eso es que el presupuesto también está afectado. El gobernador Inslee ha hecho un veto en recientemente aproximadamente 230 a 235 millones de dólares en nuevos gastos del presupuesto suplementario. Han aprobado por los legisladores durante el último periodo de febrero o marzo, todo por el brote del COVID-19. Y si bien el gasto de la escuela pública está protegido por la Constitución, los recortes al presupuesto también van a tener impacto en los distritos escolares. Este cambio es algo que el superintendente va a tener un tiempo adicional para refinar el presupuesto y presentárselo a la junta directiva. Entonces, lo que él está pidiendo es que la junta directiva, si quieren aprobar esto o considerar esto, que el 29 de junio se presente un presupuesto por el señor Scott Isuzu, el 3 de agosto una audiencia pública sobre el presupuesto, y el 18 adoptar el presupuesto anual para el año 2020-2021. Y él invitó comentarios de la junta directiva.
Before we have comments from board members, Trevor, do you have anything to add to that?
I believe you've summed it up accurately. I fully endorse the changes, especially given the current fiscal climate in the state and the additional time that would give us to present a budget that we can certainly stand behind. So thank you, Raymond.
Yes, thank you. Are there any comments or questions for board members? Norm?
Antes que la junta directiva tenga preguntas, quiero preguntarle al señor Green si tiene algún comentario. Él dijo que lo resumió muy bien, que él está de acuerdo que fiscalmente necesita un poco más de tiempo para ajustar los presupuestos, pero que todo lo que dijo el señor Navarro, él está de acuerdo con este plan.
Mr. Walker.
Yeah, I have just a couple questions. Are we still planning for a board retreat on Monday, August 17th?
Yeah, that's my third item. So let's.
Oh,
if
okay.
you don't mind, we'll leave that one for.
Okay.
a few
And
more
then I
minutes.
just wanted to confirm, we have no meetings in July until the 28th. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I will review a proposed revised schedule as well after
Okay.
the discussion. So
Great. Thank you.
El señor Walker tenía una pregunta que si se iba a haber un retiro para la junta directiva. Dijo el señor Navarro que eso es la tercera cosa en la agenda, que lo vamos a dejar para poquito más después. Luego también preguntó que si es cierto que el mes de julio no va a haber juntas, y de nuevo eso vamos a platicar de eso en un poquito.
thank you. Martha?
I just want to clarify what I think I may have misheard. We have a meeting scheduled for the 29th of June, correct?
That's what we're wanting to do, yes.
Okay, and then the budget presentation will be at the July business meeting?
Let me see
No.
here.
No.
No. Okay.
The preliminary budget, if I may, Raymond,
Sure.
the preliminary budget would be presented on that same evening. That would be the 29th by Scott.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You're unmuted, Martha.
Lo que dijo la señora Marta es que ella quería clarificación. Ella quería saber si el 29 de junio o de julio se me hace, hay junta y que si es cuando se va a presentar el presupuesto después. Dijo el señor Green que el 29 se va a presentar el presupuesto por el señor Scott de junio.
At some point, I don't know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me, but what we may have to approve some kind of more definite reopening plan than what we have right now. So I mean, Trevor would be in a better position to know about that, I think, than I would, but I'm thinking that what we've approved so far is not going to meet the requirements for reopening in the fall.
La señora Rice está diciendo que a un punto ella piensa que se necesitan unir para ver el plan de reabertura. Ella piensa que el plan que han aprobado quizás no sea el plan que van a usar.
So let me review the revised schedule, and then we can have that. Then Trevor, if you could chime in terms of approval of that reopening schools plan. So what we're saying, what we're recommending is on the scheduled June 22nd meeting, we cancel that. And then we add a new meeting on June 29th. And that's when superintendent will present or have a discussion on the Yakima Reopen Schools Plan. Also be talking about the Yakima School District and the Yakima Police Department SRO contract. And also, there's also, again, the preliminary budget presentation, and also we need to take action on permission to award the Robertson Elementary water school or the water system. So those are what we have on the agenda for the 29th. Trevor, did you want to speak in terms on the reopen schools plan for the district? If maybe a timeline for when you might have a plan in place or for the board to review?
Lo que dijo el señor Navarro es que él tiene un nuevo programa de reuniones para la junta directiva. El plan fuera de cancelar la junta que tienen para el 22 de junio y luego tener esa junta el 29 de junio donde el superintendente va a poder hablar sobre la apertura de las escuelas, también el contrato del Departamento de Policías de Yakima y la escuela, y también otorgar permiso que se repare el sistema de agua en la primaria Robertson.
So we just learned, obviously, about the reopening plan, which came forward on Thursday. I do believe that we can finalize this in late July or early August, so we can still do that either at that July meeting or that August 3rd or even beyond. We'll know much more about the work on that by our next meeting, which will happen, I believe, on the 29th, and we can give a full update on what that timeline will look like. The work groups are doing the work for that right now through led by Rob Darling.
Entonces, lo que dijo el superintendente es que como apenas se dio un nuevo guía para la apertura jueves pasado, piensa que van a tener tiempo para presentar esto en julio o el 3 de agosto o quizás después de eso. Vamos a saber más el 29 de julio. El señor Rob Darling es el que está encargado y es el líder, el que está ayudando a facilitar este proceso.
Martha, did you have any thoughts about that timeline?
No, that sounds fine. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Martha. So then on July 28th, we do have a business meeting, and that is the only meeting for the month of July. And Then we have August 3rd. We would add that meeting to the schedule. And that would be the public hearing on the budget. And then we would cancel the August 10th meeting. And then we would keep the August 17th meeting. And we can use that again if the superintendent would wish for the board to review and approve or take action on the reopened schools plan. And then again, on August 18th, we have the business meeting, and that during which time we would adopt the annual budget for 2020-21.
Dijo el señor Navarro que el 28 de julio se va a hacer una reunión de negocios. Después, el 3 de agosto, va a haber una nueva reunión para añadir al programa para los presupuestos. La junta que tenían programada para el 10 de agosto fuera cancelada. El 17 de agosto, una reunión de lunes. El 18 de agosto, una reunión de negocios y la aprobación del presupuesto anual del año escolar 2020-2021.
Are there any other comments from board members or questions?
¿Algún comentario de la junta directiva?
So if there's no objections, we'll go ahead and make those changes. And Jennifer will be sending out those notices. So thank you. There's lots of work to do to reopen our schools if we ever get to that level. Was it 1.5 or 2, phase 2? So I know that Trevor and Dr. Darling and the rest of the team have a lot of work ahead of them in terms of reviewing that document and developing a plan. So Norm had brought up the retreat, and thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. And that was scheduled for August 17th. And I wanted to ask board members if that's something the board wishes to continue or to have this year. So I wanted to get what your thoughts are on that. Thumbs up. I got 1 thumbs up. 2. 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For me too. No, I think we have a lot of things to discuss. We have a lot of policies that need to be completely revamped. And so I think it would be important to keep the retreat so we can begin to tackle some of those policies and work that needs to get done.
Yes. Okay. 4 thumbs up. So now my next question is, I know that a lot of the restrictions. Oh, sorry.
Dijo el señor Navarro que gracias al señor Norm Walker que nos recordó de que tenemos programado un retiro para el 17 de agosto. Y él quería saber si es algo que la junta directiva sigue interesada en eso. Enseñaron el pulgar para indicar que sí estaban interesados. La señora Graciela Villanueva dijo que hay muchas pólizas que necesitan repasar y que esto fuera, ese retiro fuera algo que necesitan el tiempo para repasar pólizas.
Thank you. Now, does the board prefer to meet virtually or in person? Because I know the restrictions will be lifted tomorrow in terms of our board meeting. So.
La junta directiva prefiere unirse unirse virtualmente o en persona. Sé que las restricciones se van a levantar el día de mañana o se vencen mañana.
Any thoughts, Martha?
I personally would prefer to meet in person. I think it's a more efficient way of meeting. But having said that, I don't know that we're going to be in a position where we'll be allowed to meet.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to hope for the worst and hope for the best and plan for the worst, and hope that we can meet in person. But knowing the way things are in the county, I don't know if they will allow us to do that.
Yes. Norm?
La señora Rice acaba de indicar que ella le gustaría unirse en persona. Esa es su posición. Ella está esperando por lo mejor, pero preparada para lo peor. No sabe si el condado va a estar en una posición donde sí se puedan reunir en persona. Ahora el señor Norm.
We can't
You're
hear you,
muted,
Norm.
Oh, my
There you
elbow
go.
hit my mute button. That sticky elbow. Okay, so I would prefer to meet in person, and I think we can wear masks and achieve social distancing even within the boardroom, and so, or we could achieve it elsewhere, since it's a retreat, as long as we're allowed to do that by the state and the health district.
Mhm. Thank you. Any other thoughts from board members?
El señor Walker acaba de indicar que le gustaría unirse en persona y usar un cubrebocas. Quizás eso es parte de la distancia social. Sí es algo que se permite por el Estado y por el Departamento de Salud.
This is Graciela. I'd say if the Yakima County is in phase 2, I'd be happy to meet in person, provided we abide by social distancing and mandatory mask wearing for the meeting. If we're still in phase 1, I would be less comfortable and I would prefer to do a virtual meeting.
Okay.
La señora Villanueva acaba de indicar que si estamos en la fase 2, a ella le gustaría unirse en persona, pero tener esa distancia social y también usar un cubreboca. Si estamos en la fase 1, dijo que no se sintiera cómoda en unirse en persona.
Thank you. Reverend Davis, did you have a comment?
Yes, I say virtual, because I don't see us getting out of phase 1 anytime soon.
Okay.
It's better safe than sorry. That's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you.
El señor Don Davis dijo que él prefiere una reunión, un retiro virtual si estamos en la fase 1, no ve que aún salgamos de la fase 1 y dice mejor estar un poquito más en el lado de precaución. Es su preferencia.
So what I'm hearing from the board is that we'll go ahead and plan on a virtual meeting for the 17th. And if things change drastically and we are then allowed to meet in person, then we'll take all the precautions necessary to meet in person, including mask and whatever we need to do. So does that sound like a plan? All right.
Sounds good.
Good. Thumbs up. All right. Thank you.
Entonces, lo que dijo el señor Navarro es que lo que está oyendo de la Junta Directiva es que les gustaría tener un retiro virtual el 17 de agosto, al menos que haya drásticos cambios, y si sí los hay, van a estar precavidos y para ese retiro.
So I will ask that board members send any agenda items to Jennifer. She can start working on that agenda. And also, I think we did this last year. I'm going to ask that if you do present or send an agenda item to Jennifer, that I would ask that you would lead the discussion on that agenda item. Okay, if you feel comfortable. So I just want to get all board members involved in our retreat. And I don't know if you want to hear me for 2 or 3, 4, 5 hours straight. So okay. Hearing no objection, sorry, Miss Mesa.
A todos en la Junta Directiva les pido que por favor si tienen algún tema que quieren agregar a la agenda, que por favor se lo manden a la señora Jennifer. También les pido que sí van a agregar un tema en la agenda, que si pueden tomar pueden tomar la conversación, ser el líder de ese tema. Dice, estoy seguro que no me van a querer oír a mí por 2 o 3 horas.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we do have a legislative representative report with Ms. Rice.
Lo que sigue en la agenda es que tenemos un informe de la representante legislativa, la señora Martha Rice.
Thank you, Raymond.
Yes.
As you indicated in your report, the state superintendent's office did issue a reopening guideline last Thursday. Rev 1 came out Thursday night. There's been yet another revision, at least one more revision since then. And for those of you who listen in on the Thursday noontime conference calls with WASDA, Tim Garchow is going to do a more detailed explanation of that guide. He did go over it pretty briefly on last Thursday, but it had only been out like an hour, so he didn't have a whole lot of detail to share. Ms. Mesa?
Lo que está diciendo la señora Martha Rice es que, como todos sabemos, el superintendente estatal nos dio un guía de reabertura. Desde entonces ha habido 2 revisiones. Como ustedes saben, el jueves estuve con WASTA y este jueves también vamos a estar allí. El señor que es líder en esa área nos va a dar más explicaciones con muchos más detalles. El jueves pasado solamente tenía el documento como por 1 hora, así que no nos pudo dar tantos detalles.
2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we had the WASDA Legislative Committee had its first of 2 two-day sessions. Normally they're in person, but this one and the next one will be virtual. And I got to tell you, that was an exercise in being able to sit that long in any one position. Ms. Mesa?
Dice, como ustedes saben, hace como 2 semanas tuvimos la primera reunión, la primera de 2 juntas con WASTA. Fueron sesiones virtuales y les voy a decir que fue un ejercicio estar allí sentada por un buen tiempo.
Our next 2-day session is next weekend, Friday and Saturday. And hopefully by then we will be able to finish up all of the new proposals and the other proposals that we will be bringing back for the delegate assembly in September. Ms. Mesa? Ms. Mesa?
Sorry, I thought I was on speaker. Las próximas sesión también va a ser de 2 días. Se va a tomar a cabo el viernes y sábado. Allí vamos a ver propuestas y vamos a discutir esas antes de presentarlas al Estado.
We've also had, in between these 2 sessions, we will have had 2 other much shorter sessions to take care of proposals that are much more emergent than waiting for delegate assembly. And these have to do with the expansion of broadband and other areas that if we stay in remote learning in the fall, that schools and students will need to have access to.
También entre las sesiones hemos tenido otras 2 sesiones. Hemos hablado de propuestas que son más urgentes. Por ejemplo, expandir la red para todos, especialmente si es que en el otoño vamos a tener clases virtuales. Es muy importante que tengamos esto resuelto.
I think I told you at our last meeting that the delegate assembly will be virtual this year. It will be a combination of legislative assembly and delegate assembly, which is normally held at the annual conference. They're still working out the logistics for that, and I'm not sure what that will look like, but I'm pretty sure that they will provide us with more information as we go forward. But it will be virtual, and it will be quite a bit different, just despite, even in spite of the fact that it's going to be virtual, it will be quite a bit different than in years past.
En la última sesión les comenté que va a haber una asamblea. Esa asamblea va a ser virtual y voy a traer más información para presentar. Y aunque esa sesión va a ser, o asamblea va a ser virtual, hay muchas cosas que van a ser diferentes en esa asamblea.
One note that came forward from last Thursday's WASDA conference call was about the budget and the fact that basic education funding is protected, and so the state can't constitutionally take any of that. However, there is funding that comes from the state that is not constitutionally protected. The biggest chunk of it would be levy equalization, and we get a bunch of levy equalization money. So we're going to have to be tracking that very closely, and I would suggest touching base with our legislators sooner rather than later, because that will be a very tempting fruit to pick from the budget tree for them when they have to balance the budget in the fall and meet all of the requirements from the COVID that the COVID situation has caused us to move into.
Ella dijo una nota de la junta que tuvieron en WASTA fue el presupuesto. Los fondos son protegidos por la Constitución, pero sí hay fondos que no son protegidos igual. Por ejemplo, los fondos de extracción, esos no son protegidos, así que de veras van a tener que ver esos fondos y ver cómo se van a utilizar.
I think that's all, Raymond, unless board members have questions.
Raymond, pienso que eso es todo, al menos que alguien de la junta directiva tenga alguna pregunta.
Seeing no questions, thank you, Martha. It sounds like there's a lot going on at the state level, and thank you for representing the board and staying abreast of all that's going on, all that with the COVID-19 pandemic and what's going on with our state budget. So thank you, Martha. Appreciate it. Next on our agenda, we do have a superintendent report with our superintendent.
Dijo el señor Navarro que le gustaría agradecerle a Marta por estar al cargo de eso y enfrente de todo lo que está ocurriendo. Dijo que no mira que nadie de la junta directiva tiene preguntas, así que invita a el superintendente para su informe.
As was mentioned earlier, the state released a reopening Washington State Schools 2020 guide this last Thursday, followed by a second version Thursday evening. Our team is scouring the current document and preparing for implementation of that guide, and we'll have a more extensive report for the board about the contents therein and our approach to date by Monday, the 29th of this month. Señora.
Como ya mencionado antes, hay un plan de reabertura que sucedió el jueves. Hubo una segunda versión esa misma tarde. El distrito ahorita está viendo y revisando para que así puedan darle un informe a la junta directiva.
In addition, I simply want to inform the board that we do have an SRO contract, YSD Yakima Police Department contract agreement for SROs in our schools that will be presented to the board on the 29th as well. And of course, we know that there are many things happening in our country currently, and I'm pleased to share with the board that I've been engaged in conversations with representatives from the protesting groups, the police department, the city manager as well, and am engaging in conversations around the concerns in that area. And we'll have Stacy Locke to present on our current status with our resource officers, including significant historical data and information for the board on that 29th date.
Lo que dijo el superintendente, que también en la fecha del 29, algo que van a repasar es el contrato de oficial de recursos escolares del Distrito Escolar de Yakima, el SRO. Es un contrato que tienen con el Departamento de Policía de Yakima. Sabe que muchas cosas están ocurriendo en nuestra nación. Él ha estado hablando con los dos lados, los que están en protesta y también con otros oficiales. Ese día la señora Stacy Locke va a tener un reporte que va a presentar para repasar con la junta directiva.
We will not be looking to take action on the contract on the 29th. It will simply be to share that information with the board.
No vamos a tomar acción el día 29, solamente va a ser un informe para darle a la Junta Directiva.
That's all I have for this evening, Director Navarro.
Eso es todo lo que tiene el señor Trevor para esta tarde.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Are there any questions from the board regarding those two items?
¿Alguna pregunta de la Junta Directiva sobre esos dos informes o esos dos temas?
Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and move forward. So
Como no veo ninguno, vamos a proceder.
next on our agenda, we have reached the consent agenda. The consent agenda enables the board of directors to efficiently deal with matters that have been delegated to the superintendent, but by law must be approved by the board. Items on the consent agenda are voted upon as one block and approved with one vote. Any board member has the right to remove any item from the consent agenda for separate discussion and actions. Ms. Mesa?
La agenda del consentimiento permite que el Consejo de la Administración trate eficientemente los asuntos que han sido delegados al superintendente. Por ley debe ser aprobado por la Junta. Los puntos de orden del consentimiento se votan como un bloque y se aprueban con un voto. Cualquier miembro de la Junta Directiva tiene el derecho de eliminar cualquier punto del programa de consentimiento para discutir y acciones separadas.
The consent agenda tonight consists of the following items. Approval of minutes of May 11th and 19th, 2020. Approval of personnel actions. Approval of out-of-endorsement assignments, a notification of warrants, and there are one group of ASB warrants, two groups of general fund warrants, one group of capital project warrants, and one group of payroll or electronic transfer. And also on tonight's consent agenda includes the budget status reports for May 2020.
El programa de consentimiento va a ser de los siguientes puntos. Aprobación de las juntas que tuvieron el 11 y 19 de mayo del año 2020. Aprobación de acciones de personal. Aprobación de asignamientos fuera del área de aprobación. Notificación de órdenes de detención para el mayo del 2020. Va a haber un grupo de garantías de ASB, dos grupos de órdenes de fondo general, un grupo de proyectos de capital, un grupo de nómina de transferencia electrónica y también va a haber informes de un presupuesto para mayo del año 2020.
Thank you. Are there any board members who wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for separate discussion and or action?
¿Algún miembro de la Junta Directiva que desee mover algún punto del consentimiento de agenda?
Seeing none, at this time I would entertain a motion that the Board of Directors approves the consent agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Quiera decir que se opone, así que me gustaría proponer que esto fuera aprobado por la Junta Directiva.
Motion by Martha and seconded by Graciela. Discussion? Hearing none. Jennifer, could you please conduct roll?
Donald Davis Jr.,
Yes.
Graciela Villanueva,
Yes.
Martha Rice,
Yes.
Raymond Navarro Jr.,
Yes.
Norm Walker.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to our action items on this agenda. And our first action item is the approval of the Yakima Education Association contract. So I'm going to go ahead and have our superintendent tee this one off for us.
Thank
Lo
you, Director.
siguiente es la acción para la aprobación de la Asociación de Educación de Yakima.
Thank you, Director Navarro. I first want to acknowledge the phenomenal work by Anthony Murrieta and his team He has exceptionally led some phenomenal efforts in securing contracts that will allow us to, one, respect our workforce and allow us space to make significant changes in culture and improving the district over the length of the negotiated contracts. Señora?
El señor superintendente le gustaría primero agradecerle al señor Anthony Murrieta y a su equipo por lo que han hecho con ese contrato. Eso nos va a ayuda a respetar a los empleados y tener una cultura mejor entre todos.
And with that, I'll turn the time over to Anthony Murrieta.
Y ahora le paso el micrófono al señor Anthony Murrieta.
You might be muted, Anthony. You're still muted.
You may want to try your cord, the volume on your cord, perhaps.
How's that? Any better?
There we
Much
go.
better.
You're good.
Sorry
You're
about
on.
that.
You're on.
Not a board meeting without me messing up the mic. Okay. What we are bringing before you is a 3-year agreement between the Yakima School District and the Yakima Education Association. Year 1 has pretty much here expired, but they did receive a 2% increase to wages. In next school year will be 1.6%, which is the IPD allocated by the state of Washington, and year 3 will also be the IPD pass-through allocated by the state of Washington. This will ensure us an additional 2 years of labor peace, and the contract had basic housekeeping along with the bargaining of the impact from the transition from our health insurance trust to the state school employees benefit board coverage. So with that said, I'll entertain any questions you have.
Entonces el señor Anthony dice que que ya han llegado a un acuerdo de 3 años con la Asociación de Educación de Yakima, que en el año 2019 a 2020 aumentaron el salario por 2%. El año 2020-2021 también este salario se aumentará por 1.6%. Y se aumentará medio día de vacaciones anuales. En el año 2021-2022 también se aumentará el salario, dependiendo en lo que el estado indique.
Are there any questions from board members?
¿Alguna pregunta de la Junta Directiva?
Okay, seeing none, I want to thank you, Mr. Murrieta, for your leadership and making this 3-year agreement happen. Appreciate all the work you've done. Also want to thank others on the district bargaining team, Dr. Darling, Pam Unsing, Stephanie Arnold, Sean Arminsky, Clint Endicott, Sherry Chapman, Miss Mesa.
Le quiere dar gracias al señor Anthony Murrieta por su liderazgo. También quiere agradecer a los siguientes, el equipo de negociación del distrito, que es el doctor Rob Darling, la señora Pam Ainsling, Stephanie Arnold, Sean Orminsky, Clint Endicott y Sherry Chaplin.
And also want to thank the YEA bargaining team, Steve McKenna, and I understand that he's retired. So I'm sure we're all going to miss him at our meetings, future meetings. Francis Guerrero, Donald DeWitt, Jennifer Hernandez, and Michael Clark.
También me gustaría decirle gracias a la Asociación de Educación de Yakima. Ese equipo fue Steve McKenna y me he enterado que ya se jubiló el señor McKenna. También a la señora Frances Guerrero, Donald DeWitt, Jennifer Hernández y Michael Clark.
So at this time, I would entertain a motion that the Board of Directors approves the agreement between the Yakima Education Association and the Yakima School District for the 2019-2022 school years.
So moved.
A move by
Second.
Martha, seconded by Mr. Walker. Discussion? Seeing none, Jennifer, could you please conduct roll call vote?
Donald Davis Jr.,
Yes.
Graciela Villanueva,
Yes.
Martha Rice,
Yes.
Raymond Navarro Jr.,
Yes.
Norm Walker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. And once again, thank you, Mr. Superintendent, for your leadership as well, and Mr. Murrieta. I appreciate all the work you've done on this agreement. So we're going to go ahead and move. Trevor, did you have any last comments? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Lo que sucedió ahorita es que el señor Navarro pidió que si había preguntas de la junta directiva, no hubo preguntas, luego se hizo un voto para aprobar este acuerdo entre la educación, el Distrito Escolar de Yakima y la Asociación de Educadores. Y esto pasó 5-0.
Thank you. Our next action item is permission to award bids for the Barge Lincoln Elementary and Lewis and Clark Middle School HVAC projects to MBI Construction. Mr. Superintendent, do you want to tee this off for us, please?
Yes, thank you. Of course, as we now enter officially into summer, it's very important to make sure that we are making the necessary facility repairs. So I'm excited about the opportunity to do so over the summer and the hard work of our maintenance crew.
Entonces, lo que sigue ahorita es el permiso para otorgar las ofertas de la Escuela Primaria Barge Lincoln y proyectos de la secundaria Lewis and Clark para la calificación y el aire acondicionado. Sabemos que es verano y que ahorita nuestro equipo está listo para hacer reparos que se necesiten.
And so with that, I will pass the baton to our Associate Superintendent, Scott Isuzu.
Thank you, Trevor. So tonight we're asking the board for permission to award these two contracts, and they are for the classroom rooftop units that cool and heat the classrooms at both Barge and Lewis and Clark. Translation, please.
A ese tiempo me gustaría pedir permiso para las ofertas de calefacción para la primaria Barge Lincoln y también para la secundaria de Lewis and Clark, para que esté caliente y se enfríen ciertos salones.
And so at Barge Lincoln, we are replacing 35 units that are approximately 24 years of age. And at Lewis and Clark, 30 units that with the same age of 24 years. Translation, please.
Estamos pidiendo que por favor aprueben 35 unidades para la primaria Barge Lincoln que tienen aproximadamente 20-25 años de edad. También estamos pidiendo que se aprueben aproximadamente 30 unidades para la escuela Lewis and Clark, también aproximadamente de la misma edad.
And does the board have any questions?
¿Y la junta directiva tiene alguna pregunta?
Martha?
Is MSI a local contractor? If not, where are they from?
Yes, they are. Typically, we actually use the All Seasons. If you probably recognize that name, but
Right.
they were a little bit higher. They must be a little bit busier at this time of the year. There's a lot of folks that are busy, so they weren't the lowest responsible bidder this time, though. However, but we have used them in the past.
But MSI is local?
MBI.
Yes, I believe they are.
MBI, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just had
You're
one
welcome.
question.
La señora Rice quería saber si la compañía MBI es un contractor local y dijo el señor Scott que sí, usualmente usamos All Seasons, pero que ahorita han de estar ocupados. Entonces, también confirmó que sí, MBI es un contractor local. Ahora el señor Norm Walker.
I just I have one question. I was curious as to who is the manufacturer of the units we're purchasing?
I would have to check on those models. I don't have that information with me. It's in the bid specs, but I can check and get that to you.
Okay, that'd be fine. Thanks.
Yep.
El señor Walker tenía una pregunta. ¿Quién es el manufacturador de esos modelos? Disculpen. El señor Scott dijo que él no tiene esa información ahorita, que la va a buscar y que se la va a dar después.
Are there any other board members that have questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Scott, for your work on I know the bidding process could be take a lot of work and so forth, and could be a complex one. So thank you for your leadership in the bidding process and making sure we got the right bid to the right company. So thank you. And in essence, that our schools are receiving the updates that they need to the building. So thank you.
El señor Navarro le dio las gracias al señor Scott por tomar esto, por el liderazgo que demostró para agarrar este contrato y por todas las ofertas. Sabe que es mucho trabajo y se le agradece.
So at this time, I would entertain a motion that the Board of Directors grants permission to the Purchasing Department to award the Barge Lincoln Elementary HVAC and Lewis and Clark Middle School HVAC project to MBI Construction Services. Ms. Mesa.
A ese tiempo me gustaría que la Junta Directiva apruebe los contratos con la compañía MBI para la escuela primaria, Arch Lincoln y secundaria, Lewis and Clark para el HVAC, la calefacción y el aire acondicionado.
So moved.
Moved by Norm.
Second.
Second by Martha. Discussion? Hearing none. Jennifer, could you please conduct roll call vote?
Sure. Donald Davis Jr.,
Yes.
Graciela Villanueva,
Yes.
Martha Rice,
Yes.
Raymond Navarro Jr.,
Yes.
Norm Walker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. And thank you, Jennifer.
Todos aprobaron esto y se ha pasado 5-0. Gracias, Jennifer.
The board does not have a need for an executive session this evening. So that brings us to the end of our agenda. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, especially Stacy Locke. She's down in my left-hand corner. Thank you for joining us today and spending your evening with us. So we appreciate the work that you're doing as well to keep our schools safe. So, and we're looking forward to hearing from you at our next board meeting.
Thank you very much, Raymond. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Raymond?
Yes.
Before we close out, would it be possible to get a breakdown of our June graduates?
Trevor, are you prepared to provide an answer on that?
Not right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we probably have to get those from the schools, but
Okay.
When you say breakdown, Martha, are you just asking for the names of those who have graduated? What are you looking for?
actually just the total number per school or per high school program. And I think we already received the total number of students who got the biliterate seal, the seal of biliteracy. There you go. I think we already have that number.
Yes, we can get that for you. So we'll send that out tomorrow.
And how many students would we have seen if we had had honors convocation?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
And I just want to once again say how deeply sorry I am that we've not been able to celebrate appropriately with our students this spring, with our staff who have retired. And I just feel at a loss for not being able to celebrate the years of service that our staff have provided and all of the accomplishments of our students.
Entonces, primero el señor Raymond quiso decirle gracias a la señora Stacy Locke por estar aquí el día de hoy, por compartir su tarde con todos nosotros. Ella dijo que fue un placer. Dijeron que les gustaría escuchar más de lo que va a presentar en la junta que viene en un futuro. La señora Rice dijo que ella tenía una pregunta, que si podía tener números de los estudiantes que ya se graduaron. El señor Green pidió que si quería los nombres. Ella dijo que le gustaría el total de los estudiantes que graduaron en cada preparatoria. Que piensa que a lo mejor ya tienen eso, pero ella también quería saber sobre el sello de los estudiantes que tienen el sello de ser bilingüe, cuántos hay. Y también quería decirle a todos que le pide disculpas por no poder celebrar lo que han logrado los estudiantes, y también a los que se están jubilando. Le gustaría haber celebrado y reconocer todo lo que han hecho.
Thank you. So that does bring us to the end of our agenda for today's meeting. And I do have to say, I don't know if you watched the Davis High School virtual graduation ceremony, which was awesome as well. So I know our staff are really, really trying hard to celebrate with our students and to make some sense of normalcy out of trying to make things normal for our kids and help them celebrate. So we thank all our Davis staff, and we know that Eisenhower also will be having theirs soon as well. So we have great staff, leadership, and faculty in our district, and our support staff in downtown. So we appreciate all the work that you all are doing in terms of, having to deal with the current situation. It's not an easy one, but I know that we're fortunate to have all the folks that we do have, and all the positions, and from the superintendent all the way to, our custodial folks and or just everybody. And really appreciate the board as well in terms of, your commitment to students, to our district, and we're just going to keep pushing forward. So with that, I want to thank everybody. It was good seeing everybody, and I know the board is looking forward to and what I heard is that the board is looking forward to getting to see each one in person and to continue the work. So once again, have a great evening, and thank you for joining us. Meeting is adjourned. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Lo que dijo el señor Raymond es que él le gustaría decir que él vio la graduación virtual de Davis. Sabe que Ike también va a ser la de ellos. Quiere agradecer a todos por el trabajo que han hecho debido a esta situación. Todos, desde el superintendente hasta todos los que ayudan en las escuelas, los que están haciendo la limpieza, la junta directiva, y a parecer todos están listos para verse en persona. Y de nuevo, gracias a todos, y esto concluye nuestra reunión el día de hoy.
Thank you. See everybody later. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.